going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is Big Games BS, Big Games Big Show, part of Den Media Group Network. Hit us up, Den Media. Check us out for all kinds of different things. Lots of new content coming onto the scene for your favorite college players, your favorite pro athletes, just your favorite guys who are just randomly in the cigar shop. Live from Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. Over here, Jacksonville, Florida, off of St. John's Bluff, the premier cigar lounge, just good vibes, vibe music, different things. Make sure you go to thehumidor.com. You'll get your favorite cigars. Type in sports in at checkout for 20% off. If you buy over $150, you get free shipping. Jam-packed show today. Talking a little bit of news on the college front. Some news on the NFL. Obviously, the NFL draft is this coming Thursday. We will be having a watch party here at Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. Come hang out with your boy at Big Game James from 7 until the draft is completed. I'll be doing a draft show with Chris Porter from 7 to 8. As soon as that's done, I'll be here. I'll be back here at Goodfellas. The first pick should have been called by then. But, everybody's really right now in anticipation for who will be the Jaguars' first pick. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Aiden Hutchinson? Is it going to be Trayvon Walker? Is it going to be Icky? Is it going to be Evan Neal? Is it going to be a wild card? The reality of the situation is it's the Jags. Nobody really knows what the hell the Jags are going to do. They're liable to do anything. I do believe, though, if you ask me, if you're a betting person, I will put my money on Trayvon Walker. If I had to bet today, I would say the defensive end from out of Georgia will be the guy who the Jacksonville Jaguars is going to draft. Not my favorite guy per se. I personally wish they would draft Icky from North Carolina State. But right now, with the news of the Jaguars signing Cam Robinson to a long-term deal, it kind of just removes that thought process of signing a left tackle. Of drafting a left tackle in the first round. So where does that leave the Jaguars? So now that you got that, and then with Evan Neal also being removed off of some teams' draft board completely due to injury issues, kind of similar to what the Jags got right now with the right tackle that they have from the University of Florida. A lot of injuries. Some people said his knee was bone on bone. That saw him fall from a first round grade to a second round grade. So you have those things kind of going on for you right now. That leaves you Aiden Hutchinson and Trayvon Walker. Well, the problem with Aiden Hutchinson is a guy that you either really, really believe in, or he's a guy that you think is going to be out of the league in 3 years. You think he's, like I call it, name brand Taven Bryan. And I think a lot of people in the NFL, that's their thought process. That's what they're thinking, as opposed to being a guy with a tremendous ceiling or upside. Now you have similar things with Trayvon Walker, where people are like, okay, well, he was a figurehead or he was a piece in the Georgia defense, but he wasn't the piece. He's not a guy that we were even talking about to going into the championship games. He's a guy that kind of emerged on the scene a little bit later, but it's kind of wild that they're looking for somebody that could come in and replace Clavon Chason or something like that. So they think that he could be the opposite of Josh Allen at defensive end. I mean, these guys are doing a bunch of different things, and like even the stuff that people are believing or projecting that he can be, the measurables and the things that you do just isn't there. Like, okay, you believe that he wasn't asked to do certain things at the University of Georgia. Well, what is this? How good is he in space? Have you seen that? Because that's what you need your edge rusher to be. You need your edge rusher to be really, really good in space to be able to get to the quarterback. Nothing gives you the tools to believe that he can do that. And what you're gonna have to do if you're taking a guy like this as a project, you're gonna have to really invest a lot into him. In terms of making sure he's getting coached, make sure he's getting properly educated on different pass rush techniques. And, you're either going to find either you have a perfect coach that's a developer guy like that, or you're going to have a coach that's going to lose his fucking mind when it comes to drafting this guy, when it comes to training this guy. It's not an easy decision. The Jaguars definitely aren't the best at this, but that's one of the things right now. But as a Jaguar fan, what you have to wonder is who's next? Who are you missing out on? I was on a Jags panel on Monday, and some things came up, and I never even thought about it. Now, you'd be a fool, and they'd ridicule you on the day of for drafting a wide receiver with the first overall pick. But that's really what you need. And when you look at what the Bengals did, then the Bengals, like, they drafted a wide receiver in the first round and got them to the playoffs. Got them to the Super Bowl in a year with a talented quarterback that was coming off of a catastrophic injury as well. So you got to find pieces to get Trevor Lawrence better. And, I think Cam Robinson is a good NFL player. I don't necessarily know if he's a guy that you want to build around on your offensive line, but I also don't think that the defensive ends that you're circling or trying to go after are guys that are going to just make you that much better defensively. But I wouldn't mind going offense. And really what I think they should really try to figure out is what are you going to do in the second round? What are you going to do with that 33rd overall pick? They're talking about Nakobe Dean falling. They're talking about Lindenbaugh falling out of the first round. Those are guys you can get. Obviously, George Pickens is a wide receiver, but don't get a wide receiver just because. Like if you don't find quality there, that's where you're going to be messed up at it. I think the Jags definitely have not addressed the defensive tackle position not defensive tackle, the linebacker position very well in the last few years. So hopefully they'll go out, do what they need to do with this, and life will be great. It'll be all smiles and Hallmark cards. It'll be peaches and rainbows. But knowing the Jags, I don't trust anything that's going on with them. Even the signing of Cam Robinson, which he's got a 3-year, $54 million deal. Basically with a 2-year out clause for the Jags. So like if it doesn't work out after next year, then they can still cut them, get rid of them. If it works out this year and next year, they still have options. It's a heavily favored in the favor of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But just stay tuned for a lot of news. The draft gets really, really weird. A lot of big deals happen. And I guess we'll just stay tuned to it. Again, the NFL draft is like I said, important thing. I just talked about Evan Neal being removed from some people's draft boards. Getting into something that I don't really get into that often, basketball. Because I don't really know a lot about basketball, but I have friends who are huge basketball fans, or at least to the point where they talk about it constantly. And the effect that I have no idea what they're fucking talking about sometimes, or why they're so passionate. But one of the things that a lot of people were extremely passionate about, and the only reason I follow it is because these guys don't get the smoke that they give my favorite NBA basketball player, LeBron James. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are two people who are they're the toxic person in the relationship, and they have not. Double negatives equal a positive, but all it does is really fucking make things even worse. So what do you mean by that? I'm thinking about Kevin Durant. Imagine if Kevin Durant stayed his ass in Golden State. All right. Anyways, like I was talking about Kevin Durant. Basically, Kevin Durant and Kyrie some whole ass bitches. So that's basically just to sum it up, getting right to it, firing back out. You got to look at it like this. Kyrie stays in Cleveland and doesn't pout, being the second in command. Imagine what him and LeBron could have accomplished in Cleveland. Because LeBron probably doesn't leave Cleveland if Kyrie's not trying to get out of there. So it's such a rush. You've got get KD, Golden State. Hell, even if KD probably didn't leave Oklahoma State, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma City, they probably get some things accomplished. But it's all about them, and they want to show that they're the leader. And what they've shown is neither one of them is capable of leading a team. You've got Kyrie, who's gone to many different places, and like including Boston. And you had this young nucleus in Boston when you were there, but you couldn't lead shit. You go there, you get drugged by a better team, which is really what people got to remember. The NBA is about better teams. The best players don't always win. It's the best teams that win. Allen Iverson for a while was one of the best players in the NBA. He just didn't have a better team than the LA team that he went up against in the finals. You can win a couple games, but at the end of the day, it's going to wear you out by just having pure numbers. Get this fallacy of what you believe Michael Jordan is out of your head. Michael Jordan was the best player in the NBA, arguably the best player of all time. He was also on the best team with multiple top 50 NBA players, top 75 now, NBA players of all time on his squad. No NBA team has ever won a championship without multiple Hall of Famers on their roster. So that's kind of what you got to look at right now. And everything was set up. Kyrie's going to be a Hall of Famer. KD's going to be a Hall of Famer. Ben Simmons is setting lights, is really fulfilling all the things that people thought about light-skinned men. This is why you don't trust light-skinned men to be able to be the core or be able to contribute things unless they're pretty and like Steph and Klay Thompson or whatever. But again, this is why you can't trust light-skinned men. But I'm just sitting here and I'm looking at what KD had going for him. In game 1, Brooklyn was up 5 with 4 minutes left in the game. Game 2, the game was tied with 8 minutes left. Game 3, 5-point game with 8 minutes left. Game 4, 1-point game with 90 seconds left. Boston won all 4 of those games. The Nets don't have a closer. And what I'm bringing this up is everybody talks about how bad LeBron is at closing games or taking the shot. Even Kyrie Irving took his shots at LeBron, saying it feels good not only to be the guy. The thing that LeBron doesn't get enough credit for is everybody talks about who's going to take the last shot. No, not enough people talk about the fact that LeBron puts you in positions, no matter how bad you were playing in his prime, to be able to take that last shot. And what Kyrie and KD both can't do is be reliable enough to carry you through an entire game to where you can get to that point to take a shot. Everybody's worried about the last few seconds. They forget about the 3.5 quarters that somebody dominated a game to be able to get you in a position. It's clear that neither one of them has the ability to be the man. And while I will not go on a Stephen A. Smith diatribe about getting your shot and getting vaccinated, but Kyrie is about one person, that's Kyrie. And I don't blame him. I don't knock him for that, but I want us to be clear and be real on that. If Kyrie were truly about the team, that motherfucker, and then makes the complaint about it's hard when you haven't had the conditioning. Bitch, if you were that worried, you would have went and took the goddamn shot. You would be in shape right now for the playoffs. Y'all would have won more games to be in a better position. But now I applaud him for taking his stance and not getting it. But I don't want to hear shit about you complaining when you could have gotten a shot. And miss me with my health and this, man. Every politician that's bitching about the shot, you know what they have? They got the shot. Most people who got the shot are here alive right now. There are people who did not make it, and I feel sorry for you, but there's also millions who didn't get it that are dead too because of that. And I almost lost my life for it, so I don't want to hear that shit. But I do know this. If it were about my teammates, or if I needed to do this in order to make sure that I can earn a living, or that the people around me were looking forward to me, and they needed to be held, and I had some accountability to people, I probably would have took it a lot earlier. And the thing about Kyrie, regardless of how you feel about the shot, is Kyrie has a hard time with accountability. He lacked it in Cleveland. He lacked the ability to have accountability in Boston, and now that's why he's here where he's at. And on top of that, his ass just got fined $50,000 for how he responded to the Boston crowd. And I'm not necessarily a Boston Celtics fan. I've heard about how racist the sports city Boston is or can be, but at the same time, you got your ass drugged because of you. And you shouldn't get your ass drugged when you have two of the best players in the NBA on your roster, who are still relatively young in comparison. KD's 33, Kyrie's 30 years old. Like, this shit shouldn't be happening. These guys should be performing at a much higher level than what they're performing, even all these years into the NBA. Moving forward, past that, also congratulations to Miami Heat, going 4 games to 1 over the Atlanta Hawks. Shout out to my boy Dibby. But man, Miles, did you see this dunk in Memphis coming back and pulling it out? But Ja Morant, oh my God, I have never seen anything like this before. This man did a video. It was like a video game glitch in your favor. This man, they were down by, I believe, even after the dunk, Memphis was still down by double digits to Minnesota. But when Ja comes down the paint, literally puts his balls on top of another man's head and dunks on him, it literally changed the trajectory of the game. One of the most disrespectful things you could do to any human being, but in particular in sport, is to dunk on another person in that manner. Like the way Shaq used to dunk on guys, like throwing that thing back, throwing his ass on you because he was a lot of man to handle, and then jumping and dunking and like thrusting his hips right into your nose. Like that shit, I would have had to fight Shaq. Shaq would have, I think one white guy did try to do it because he was mad because Shaq just spread his legs, and I know that man felt the flap from his third leg that just hit him right there on the chin, and the guy didn't like that. But Ja Morant literally teabagged the man in the air. No, he's against Minnesota. Against Minnesota in the playoffs. Yeah, I think he took that whole man's soul. Like he had to have, because there's no way you should be able to come back after that. But this guy just drove down the lane. He didn't just jump. It's all right, so when you leave the air, you got to go up, and then eventually what comes up must come down. But it's he went up and he saw the guy and he was like, okay, I need to elevate 5 more inches. So he jumps again in midair, and then that was just enough for the back of his balls to land on my man's head, and then he dunked it with some ferocity. And I think the NBA would be better with ratings if they allowed you to do what hockey does. Because if you dunk on me like that, we can't coexist on the same court. Before I get my time out, I need 5 minutes with you, bro. I need to we got to tussle or something, man. But you are amazing, dog. I believe we are, black people are the aliens. That's why we haven't seen aliens come back yet, because aliens are already here. We just don't know we're subdued. Some of this shit is freaky. That should not be able to happen.
He's becoming one of the most exciting players to watch in the NBA.
Right.
I'm showing the replay.
Right. So one of the cool things is I don't really give a fuck about the action in basketball as much as I care about being exciting. That shit is exciting. That's what can make people like the game more. But again, I do believe that if you get dunked on like that, you should be able to fight. It reminds me of Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo Mourning is a good guy, but man, I feel bad for his kids. Alonzo Mourning is on more posters across America than any person in NBA history, but not for his dunks. He is the guy who always went for block shots, always trying to touch balls, and always got 2 on him, more consistently than anybody else. And it's unfortunate, but whoever this guy is, I'm sure this guy is an amazing player who got dunked on. I just refuse to learn your name now. You will forever be known as the guy that Ja Morant teabagged in the middle of the air. So that was just something that I thought was was mad cool, man. Like, it's just like, damn, man. Yeah, I ain't got nothing else to say on that. Again, oh man, I just saw something. The great moments in draft history. It was on this day in 2016. Oh, excuse me. No, it was around this time when Laramie Tunsil's family dropped the gas mask picture of him smoking a bong with a gas mask on. That dropped him down in the draft a little bit, but he's gonna make money off of that, so he'll get the last laugh from over his hating ass stepfather. He's gonna make an NFT of that. So NFTs are the new wave, man. Get you an NFT and flourish. We should be having some sports den or Mikanopi NFTs coming real soon. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, basketball. It's been a really, really good draft. I'm not draft, excuse me. Damn, I'm getting all confused. Really good playoffs from what I'm understanding and what I read on the Twitter sphere. Make sure y'all go check it out. Before I get into my main thing, and I guess today's show might be a little shorter than normal. We started a little bit later, but it'll be shorter than normal. But I like good moments in fatherhood. Like being a dad is way harder than what people give it credit for. Everybody gives credits to moms, and Mother's Day is coming up here in 2 Sundays. Everybody makes a big deal about it. You'll see Mother's Day commercials. You'll see, take care of your mom, make sure mom's there. Dear Mama is a song written by Tupac. Everybody shouts out their mom. Nobody shouts out the dad. Everybody talks about the homemaking part. Like, oh, why women have you make these rules or roles for yourselves and then blame misogyny on it. Like, but the reality is when the creature comes out of your womb, like it kind of needs you. Like we don't have milk. Nothing comes out of these bad boys. Shit comes out of you. Like the baby needs you to survive. But outside of that, people don't talk about how really involved fathers are, or how the baritone in the male's voice automatically commands and demands respect. But much respect to the Cincinnati Reds dad, who was enjoying the game with a sling, carrying the baby, drinking a beer, I believe he had, or maybe he was feeding the baby. I don't remember, but it's I look at the tweet here. It's shared. It's in our group. No, he was feeding the baby. Even more bravo. A foul ball comes in. He doesn't have a glove. Another guy is actually trying to post up and trying to grab it from him. And the dad snags it with the right hand, left hand, feeding the baby. The bottle does not leave the baby's mouth. He doesn't flinch. He does this and does this great. And I'm sorry, but a mom couldn't do this. There actually was a mom. The mom was literally right there. She could have put herself in position to get the damn ball, but she didn't. It took a man to be able to go and handle this situation. And this is just what dads do that are overlooked. So I don't particularly like the guy who tweeted it, Clay Travis.
Wow.
But thank you, Clay Travis, for sharing that. Wow. Real fathers do real shit. Soreness. So I like that.
Pops it up.
To what my hate o'clock is right now. And I'm sure there'll be more things that might come up, but like
nice job.
Nick Saban.
Wow, feeding the baby.
I love it, man.
Wow. Holds the bottle.
I love Nick Saban.
No spillage.
There is
baby in perfect
no control in NCAA
souvenir
right now. We need Nick Saban to retire from football and become the commissioner of football, the college football commissioner. Everybody respects him. People will do what he says do. And what do I mean by that? Nick always goes around and says things like, is this how you want to play the game? Is this how you want to play the game? And anytime he says that, he means that he's going to be able to play. He already has the cheat sheet. When he talked about the transfer portal, he asked, is this really how y'all want to play the game? And so now he's over here using the transfer portal like NFL free agency. He asked, is this how you want to play the game when it came to name, image, and likeness and no rules? And he's showing us how this is how you really play the game and get guys paid. Every time we do some shit, he knows the rules. And so now what the NCAA is reportedly doing does nothing but benefit Saban more. NCAA could eliminate caps on coaching staffs and there are other seismic changes. They're basically reimagining how Division I does business, which can have major consequences for all coaches. And Mark Emmert is doing all this shit, and he's about to bounce. So he's talking about he's stepping down. And it's just a wild thing. I'm trying to skip to the meat of it. They're going to eliminate they're going to eliminate scholarship caps on sports that offer only partial scholarships, which could be something big. They're going to abolish the limitation on the number of coaches per team. So what does this mean? So you have the on-field coach. So most schools have 10. So you have your head coach, and you have 10 other coaches, 10 other position coaches. Then a lot of guys they mirror those 10 on-field coaches with 10 off-the-field coaches that are your analysts. And then they have quality control guys. They have a bunch of different things. But now, if you can have an NFL staff on the sideline, which gives you a tremendous amount of information. Sometimes it's not about it's not about the player, and it's not just about a coach, but it's about how you can get information, how you can break down information to be able to give to the player. I use the NFL as an example. The NFL has your position coaches, and typically those position coaches have 2 assistants. So the 2 assistants' job is to scout and to self-scout and scout what the other defense is doing to you. So let's just use as a running back as an example. The running backs coach tells you that I want you to take certain steps on a certain play, and then I want you to attack this hole. So now the running back coach can look for something or the hole or the outcome of the play. He can have his assistant, hey, check their feet work. Did they do what they were supposed to do with the footwork? Now the other coach can look at what the defense did. If we're running inside zone, did the tackle shoot the A gap? If so, if he shot the A gap, did we go B gap? Did the tackle go B gap? Did we go A gap? And what did the backside tackle do? You can have a coach looking at those things, and they're giving you real-time information to where now I can take this information and I can relay it to my guys. And that's just a wild thing. They're going to expand direct payments from schools to athletes. Again, more money, and figure out this and do more with the recruiting rule. And I'm reading this as I'm going over. Like, abolishing the countable coach limit would allow each team staff of analysts and quality control coaches to provide on-field instructions to players, or to provide on-field instruction and no longer look over their shoulders to see if compliance is watching. It means that schools could send analysts and quality control coaches on the road to recruit. And so basically it strengthens how you can recruit and have more strength in numbers. The guy who I don't want going around trying to figure out how to do this shit is a Nick Saban, because we all know Nick plays a dirty game, man. Nick is that guy, and it's just overall just wild. Overall wild. Last thing, Hate O'Clock, which is brought to you by Green Acre Sporting Goods. Green Acre Sporting Goods is the go-to outdoor shop. You guys are doing a good job of going there and buying shit because they don't have. You ready, Mom? Yep. I think you guys have seen it sometimes on this show, but like they're out of that. They're gonna get more of them, but I think that's if you're looking for self-defense for your old lady or you're a woman, that's a really good, durable gun. It puts enough pop. It'll definitely pause somebody. Again, this isn't a fucking fashion show. This is about self-defense or home defense. It's about neutralizing the target. Now, they do have the cool guns that cost a lot of money that look better than what they are. But the functionality of it, you need a 9. These 380 snub noses are cool. You need a pump shotty. Those are 3 things that you can definitely go get. They still have the 22 with the adjustable strap. All kinds of guns are at Green Acre Sporting Goods, and they're still hiring. So make sure you go check those guys out. If you got any questions, just hit me up, and we'll make sure that you are indeed taken care of. My Hate O'Clock comes to the recruiting thing, and sticking with NCAA football. It is collectives are becoming the new norm, and fan bases are bragging about collectives, and my collective does this, your collective does that. They're not bigger than this, and blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. And then what happens is, now that it's all in the open, the stories of the bag man are now under the collective, and there's a lot of misinformation going on. And what's funny is, the louder somebody is, typically the less ferocious they are, the softer they are. To quote a poet, the late great Christopher Wallace, don't you know bad boys move in silence and violence? Take it from your highness. And I bring that up because, obviously with Micanopy 1851, we have a new collective at Florida State. We also have Rising Spear. We also have 850 Warpath. Florida has the Gator Collective, and they have the Gator Guard. Miami has not necessarily collectives, but they have Jonathan Ruiz with Life Wallet. They have Drew Rosenhaus and his agency. They have another one that I can't think of off the top of my head, but my teammate J.R. Bryan is affiliated with them. Shout out to them. They're doing, again, effectively, there are multiple collectives that are brokering deals. The University of Miami just got a commitment yesterday by the name of Daryl Jackson. From formerly of East Gadsden High School in the Panhandle of Florida, signed and committed to the University of Maryland last year. He is now transferred and committed to the University of Miami. A lot of talk about who's done this and who's got that, and really kind of with that between Daryl Jackson and also a comment by Darren Heitner about collectives. And what is Florida State doing? And Chrissy Dosh came out with something like, hey, Florida State has Rising Spear, and she shouted out Micanopy 1851. Darren's response was, we're not talking about we're talking about impact and less about the numbers. To my quote was, just because you talk a lot doesn't mean you have a lot. And like the Gator Guard, shout out to them, they raised $4 million. And the quote was, they raised $4 million in less than 24 hours with a multimillionaire that's behind it. I can speak with certainty that Micanopy has more raised than that. But we just don't feel the need to brag and show our hand until it's necessary. Because at the end of the day, who cares how much you raise if there's no deals? But what the funny thing about it is the rumors of when you miss out on a recruit. Everybody thinks that recruits are just about the money. So I saw something where a guy said that Daryl Jackson, the rumor was that Miami offered $400,000 to the young man. And the funny thing is that a lot of us guys who are in the positions that we're in, we have our hand in multiple pots. So I'm a Florida State grad, but I am pro athlete. So there are athletes that are at Indiana. There are athletes that are at University of Florida. There are athletes that are at the University of Miami. There are athletes that are all around the nation that I have helped with, or that I know the people who are actively pushing them toward those things. And it's funny to see people who have no fucking clue or idea of what they're talking about try to push the narrative, try to push the envelope to be able to discuss what it is that guys are or aren't doing. And what you got to realize is sometimes you just miss. And sometimes your school might not have even really made a bid for that person. They may have just said, hey, we're good with what we got. We just wanted to kick the tires. Darrell did get he did get a good deal. I can assure you it wasn't $400,000. I won't tell you what it was or what it wasn't, because all these rumors do is strengthen the guys that are behind the scenes making the things happen. And shout out to Domo Sports and their team for making stuff happen for some of these young athletes. And shout out to NILs and NIL collectives for all doing their respective things. But I want people to know that at the end of the day, you don't pay for play. And this NIL stuff is still about business. So these guys are giving guys deals, but the deals still have to translate into things that make sense. Like, for example, me talking about Green Acre Sporting Goods, we would not get our NIL deal from Green Acre Sporting Goods if people weren't purchasing Canics and Tauruses and things of that nature, like you guys are currently and doing now. So on that note, that's a short show. We'll come in on Friday. We'll have a lot more heat. We'll have more things that we'll be discussing, more stuff that we're putting out. Again, make sure you go check out the YouTube channel, Did Media Group. Please continue to like that. We need the 4,000 hours of watch time. We just need more likes. We need more views. And also check out us on SportsDen_live on Instagram and on Twitter. Miles is creating a good edit for Michaela, who just signed with Micanopy 1851. Yesterday we made that announcement, so check out the Home Run Queen. That's what she does. And other than that, man, you guys have a blessed hump day. If you want to make somebody happy, show them your humps on the hump day. You ready, Mom?
Yep.
All right. Yeah.